Hi everyone, I'm going to be your instructor for Humanities 115. My name is Sandy Oliver, and we're going to run through, literally run through a lot of important stuff here on this video. I'm going to try to do the first day welcome kind of thing that we usually do as a seated class. So it'll be most helpful for you if you have your syllabus either up on your other device or printed out so you can kind of follow along. If you don't have that available right now, pause me and then come back and go on from there. Okay, so you have a syllabus. Every class has a syllabus, and I want to go through things. I'm not going to read this out loud to you because you're all big people, grown-ups. You can do that yourself. I am going to kind of run through the highlights if my voice holds out, and see what we can get through. And if you have questions, then you can email me. Okay. My email address is on the syllabus, and it's skoliver@johnstoncc.edu, just so you know. Okay, we're a summer course, which means our class is technically 8 weeks. But since we have 2 little breaks in the middle, we start on a Thursday and we end on a Monday. So you have 10 calendar weeks, which is how I've kind of written things on our schedule. But it's not really 10 weeks. You know, when you start the last day of the week and end the first day of the week, it's kind of a weird thing. But anyway, I usually do weeks Monday through Thursday, which is great because that's what we do in the summer. The college is only open Monday through Thursday, and all of your stuff comes out here Monday through Thursday. In the summertime, we have 2 due dates because, like I said, it's an 8-week course, but we are doing the whole 16-week course from the fall or the spring. We have to do it that way or it doesn't count. And so please, please, please make sure that you have enough time in your life to do all this work. And especially if you're in multiple classes for the summer, really take time and kind of sketch things out so you know when you're supposed to be doing what. And that way you won't get behind and waste your time because you failed the class or I have to drop you for absences. And we'll get more on that in a little bit. Okay. The course is titled Critical Thinking. This is Humanities 115 online sections. And it's a 3 contact hour class, normal 3 contact hour class like you have most of your lecture classes and your core classes and things like that are 3 credits apiece. And so what that means is you have 3 hours in a normal week. So we really have 6 hours in our week. So there's that part. I always tell students the first 6 hours of the summer belong to me. That means it's the time that you would normally spend in class, right? So I'm going to talk to you. I have lots of videos for you, at least 1 per chapter. And you're going to have to do some reading. Again, we're going to read chapters. And next week is probably the most number of pages you're going to read in a week. But none of this stuff that we're going to do in the first section is all that earth-shattering or difficult. And so we're going to blow through that as soon as we can. This is a transfer course, general education course in humanities and fine arts. If you decide that you're not doing as well as you'd hoped, you have until June 24th to drop. Okay. And the way we do drops and withdrawals these days is it doesn't count against you grade-wise, but it can impact your financial aid. So be very careful about how many credits you're supposed to finish and how many credits you actually do finish. Again, I'm Mrs. Oliver. I have everything as Sandy Dolan Oliver most of my life. The big middle chunk of my life, I was Miss Dolan, and a lot of things are still under that. But anyway, I'm Mrs. Oliver. I don't have an office on campus. Nobody's really on campus this summer unless they're teaching seated classes. And but if you have things you need to drop off, you can drop them off at my husband's office. They're in Wilson, 2048, second floor, little tiny office at the end. I don't have office hours per se. I'm up for if we need to talk on Zoom or course or whatever system we're using this time. Um, we can do that, but most everything I try to make you do things through email, and to get used to that kind of thing. So, um, anyway, um, I don't have an office phone number because I'm an adjunct. I don't have an office. I have a hair in my mouth. That's unfortunate. Okay. I answer emails as soon as I see them, usually, well, always within 24 hours. Um, and the 24 hours thing is interesting because I may answer your email early in the morning, and then you may email me again, and I might not get to it until the next afternoon. My days are a little bit weird this summer, too, so a little grace, but I try to get to things as soon as I see them. Um, Sometimes on the weekends, and that's Saturday, Sunday, I might miss an email here or there. Again, you give me grace, I give you grace. I'm not going to mess things up for you because, you know, I missed an email. This course is critical thinking, and it's a lot of definitions and a lot of practice. And I tell my students all the time, it's a little bit of everything, right? We read, we write, we talk, we examine things, we look at arguments, we kind of outline, graph, play with our arguments. And it's across cultures, and mostly about, controversies and dilemmas, things that people think are true, but when we really look at what's underneath it, it's not. So we're gonna look at those. It's a 100% online course. Everything we do is through Blackboard, and you can be yay or nay about that, but that's what we have, so that's what we use. If you haven't used Blackboard before, or if it's been a while, please, please, please take the time to do the student orientation. When you sign into Blackboard, you've got a whole page there of things, resources. One of them is Blackboard orientation, and it shows you how to do things in Blackboard and what works well and what doesn't. So avail yourself of that. Our textbook is an e-text. If you are like me and you'd want a paper one, I know Amazon has them. I think the bookstore will order them for you, but it could be a while. But we do have e-text. It's just like the book. The page is the same, all that. The page numbering is a little bit interesting. Give yourself a minute. Go look at the text, and at the bottom of the page where you have numbers and things you can scroll to or whatever, there's also off to the side the actual page that you're in the book. I'm not sure why it gives you two different things, but keep that in mind. Our book is The Power of Critical Thinking, Effective Reasoning About Ordinary and Extraordinary Claims, 7th edition, 7th edition, 7th edition. Of course, it's hard to mess that up when it's an e-text, right? It's by Dr. Lewis Vaughn. It is, I think, the best critical thinking / intro to logic book out there. And so we continue to use it. There is a companion site that can give you all kinds of helps. It's got something that's very, very similar to Quizlet already embedded into it. There's, all kinds of good things in there. So anyway, have a look. You're also going to need, obviously, to access Blackboard on a regular basis, the internet, library resources. You're going to need a high-speed internet connection. And if you don't have one at home, then come to the campus and use the one there. Let's see. Oh, so we're going to do some inductive reasoning, some deductive reasoning. We like deductive because it's a yes or no answer. Inductive, though, is where we live all the time. It's partial credit and the gray area and life in general. So we're going to do some time with that as well. Your evaluation methods, basically, I try to get at things in different ways so that folks with different learning styles can thrive. You won't like everything we do, but there will be something that clicks that helps you understand the concepts and stuff, and you just have to work and see what does. Our assignments, we're going to do 3 papers. They're 3 pages apiece. This is one way at getting at the information and practicing that doesn't involve a test. So that's kind of why they're there. The other thing is I think it's important for students to learn to basically put your thoughts on paper. This is a lower stress version of that than, say, your English 111 and 112 classes are. They're worth 10% each. The 4 exams are also worth 10% each. They are not cumulative aside from what I call the big words, things that we define and use throughout the whole book, like critical thinking, argument, statement, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, that kind of stuff. They'll show up on every single one. So you want to make sure that, especially after that first test, that you go back in and look at my comments and circles and corrections and things. And make sure that you've got those correct. There are only 2 terms, and we don't get those until the very last test, that are in the glossary in the book. So go to the glossary, look at those. Those are the actual definitions that we're going to use. There are lots of ways to define an argument. We have a particular one. So let's see. Homework, you have basically 2 different types of assignments that I'm doing for homework. One is the chapter self-assessment. Use the chapter, find the answers, do their stuff, study. And then the discussion boards. We'll do one of those every week. The first one is an introduction. After that, they are various statements by heavy thinkers. And I want you to kind of wrestle with those a little bit, talk to each other about them, that kind of thing. And I have a whole short little video about those, so we'll move on. I'm on page 3 in your syllabus. The Blackboard column marked current Blackboard grade. It is Blackboard's estimate of your grade. It's usually pretty close. It may be up to a half a point or so off. And that's okay. That's not where we post our final grades. We post final grades in self-service. So you have to think about those. But the current Blackboard grade, okay, if you're caught up, it's pretty correct. Okay, if it says you have an A, you have an A. If you're missing assignments, and it still says you have an A, because it will, until I put the zeros in, it's a little more optimistic than you should be. Okay, so use your critical thinking. If it's halfway through the semester and it says you have a 94, but you haven't turned in, the homework assignments or a test or a paper, you can't have an A, right? 10% of the class takes you into the B range. So keep that in mind. I will have things back to you, and in the old parlance, I will grade things after you post them, obviously. Excuse me, if you post them by the due date, I will grade them and put the grade up on Blackboard within a week. Usually much faster than that, especially in the summer. I go in every day and grade everything that's there and then move on. So that's the piece. If I give you feedback on something, it's going to, in my grades, which is one of the little clicks on the side, in that little black column, it'll say my grades, all one word. And if it's got an underline on the grade, it says 88 underlined. So if you click on that underline grade, it'll give you my comments. It'll also let you see if I wrote on the document you posted at all. So do that. I know everybody works at different paces. I have 2 due dates every week. One on Tuesday, one on Thursday, by 11:59 p.m., midnight, right? And that's how your attendance is going to be run too. And so as long as you post one thing that's due by Tuesday and one thing that's due by Thursday, you have your attendance, okay? If you skip one of those, then I have to make you absent. If you miss more than 2 weeks, which means you get that 5th absence, I'm supposed to drop you. And we'll talk later about that if it comes up for you. But what I've done for assignments is you have the discussion board, which doesn't really require you to do reading from the book or whatever. Um, the post is due on Tuesday and the replies are due on Thursday. So that gives you your attendance if everything else is kind of blowing up. Let's see. Yeah, getting behind in your work will cause difficulties in the summer, especially because you don't have a lot of time to recover. But if you are going to be late about something, I'll wait for that one. Have something else in the middle. But okay, you can see your grades. You can see what is due. I'll send out an announcement every week to say, hey, here's what you need to do this week. But you can always look on the week in weekly lessons. It's the little click on the side, and it'll show you what you have to do. Right now, I have things through the end of week 3. I hope to have up before you see this another 3 weeks. Basically, the first 2 units are up, could be up. The first unit is up. The second unit is hopeful. A little bit about AI. Everybody's very excited about AI and wonderful and all the things it can do. And don't let that bleed over into your schoolwork. Play with AI all you want for your own personal benefit. Great, wonderful. Do your own work. And there's a paragraph both in the syllabus and on the syllabus page on Blackboard that you need to be aware that it's not a, what do we call it? It's not a victimless crime. You are selling yourself short because you're not doing the work and you're not learning that, putting that in your brain. But you're also taking things that aren't yours and presenting them as yours. And that's just a lack of integrity. And I am sad when that happens. One of the things about AI that is difficult is that sometimes it's hard to tell, which is kind of the point, right? But my hope for you all is that you will want to learn the information because it's important. It's been set before you by folks who have been doing this for a long time, and not just me. And you're selling yourself short. You're giving yourself less of an education than you should have when you're finished, when you're using these shortcuts. So don't. Okay, late work policy. I do take late work. I know we all have other things going on, and sometimes they're more important than school. They can't always be more important than school. Okay, so plan to do your work. Plan to do your work on time. If things get out of hand, something big blows up in your life, or small blows up in your life, still creates a roadblock there. Send me an email and ask for an extension, and that keeps you from suffering the late penalties. If you don't do that, if you just don't do the assignment on time or whatever, then it loses 10%. Any assignment loses 10%. That's a test or a paper or a piece of a paper or regular homework, discussion boards, everything. The big deal is you can't get extra credit for it either. I don't give extra credit assignments. I do give extra credit for extra work. So, if you write more than I ask for, if you do more than I ask for, then yeah, you get extra credit, a point or two here and there. And if it's late, even if it's the best thing I've ever seen, it loses 10%. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you ask for an extension, you can still get the extra credit that's associated with that. Let's see. I did a few things there. We talked about attendance. During a regular semester, it's 1 assignment per week. During the summer semester, because we're compressed, it's 2. So make sure you do one of the things that's due for Tuesday, one of the things that's due for Thursday, at the very least. Okay. Of course, there are always more than that, to do, and you should do them all because that's how the course is set up. It'll help you learn things and keep things in your head. So there are those things. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, Jolt is available to help you with technical difficulties or training on Blackboard and things like that. And when you first sign into Blackboard, you've got a whole bunch of resources there. Even if you've been doing Blackboard for a while, pop in there and see if there's something that could help you out when you get stuck. Two other things, well, maybe more than two other things. One is this idea of the religious or solemn observance policy. If you have a holy day coming up or a holy week coming up, you need to let me know if that's going to impact your turning things in. And I need to know that 2 weeks beforehand. Now, obviously, if it's next week, then you need to let me know today and we'll work on it. That way you don't get counted absent for things, because I don't want to count you absence because, you know, I am not up there. This is, just send me an email. There's a form somewhere on the website, but just send me an email. Okay. One of the best things that they've come up with lately is the Jaguar writing portal. It's a free writing tutorial service. It's staffed by JCC and it's available to all students at JCC, not just folks in the English and writing courses. Okay, so if you need some help or you just want somebody to look at things, there you go. Okay. On page 6, I don't believe we're doing that we're going to do formal progress reports over the summer. I could be wrong about that. But if you fall through the cracks a little bit, I can make a on-demand one, and then somebody from the college will get a hold of you to try to help you out. Okay, last real thing, and then I'll talk a little bit about the schedule. Student concerns. If I do something that offends you, or if you think I'm not being fair or clear, please let me know. It's a little easier when we're online because you don't have to come to the office or stand and say, Miss Oliver, you offended me. It's possible. I try really hard not to offend anybody, but I'm human. It does happen occasionally. Let me know, and I'll do my best to fix it, make it better, get you back where you need to be, get me back to where we need to be. And if we can't come to an agreement, then we go and we talk to my director, who is the chair of the English, Humanities, and Foreign Languages section. That's Elizabeth Baker. And her email and phone number and everything is on the very last page, page 7. If the three of us can't figure things out, then we have to bring in Dr. Cooper. And she's our Associate Vice President of University Studies, and that's my section. So, and her information is on that last page as well. On Blackboard, you have under course information, click on that, and then I think it's the third thing down. When that page opens up is our syllabus and general policies, and there's some things in there as well. I chunked up and put the AI thing, grades, and late work policy up there, so you have access to all of that. The last thing I want to talk about just for a couple minutes is the course schedule. I have it for you in a couple different ways. In that course information click, there is a click called the course outline or course schedule. I forget which one it is. Let me see. I have a little piece of paper over here. I have a little piece of paper for pretty much everything. I didn't write that in there. Oh yeah, course schedule is basically the gradebook page that I use for each of you. And so it has the dates so I can keep attendance, and it has the assignments that are due that week. And so I put it up there. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but I know some people like to have a list of sorts, and there that is everything for the whole term. Um, and then I have this major assignments and due dates, which is also in that same course information thing down from the syllabus. Basically, our class runs from Thursday, May 16th to Monday, July 15th. My grades are due July 16th, so don't try to push things at the end. We have 2 holidays. Memorial Day is Monday, May 27th, and Independence Day holiday is Thursday, July 4th. We're off on Fridays all through the summer, so you have all these 3-day weekends, which is nice. Memorial Day gives you a 4-day weekend, and so does 4th of July, so that's kind of nice. Our first exam will cover chapters 1 through 3, and the due date for that is Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, May 28th, 11:59 p.m., so you have all day. Anyway, you're given a study guide with some practice exercises. There's a video about the study guide. You have access to all of these in that same major assignments area. Paper 1, okay, is taking sides in an argument. Papers have 3 parts. Usually some kind of apparatus to get you going, and then a rough draft that I look at and provide feedback for, and then a final draft, which I grade. Okay. The tests also have, all the exams have study guides to go with them. If it's not on the study guide, it won't be on the test. Okay. Our last thing about schedule wise is our last day is July 15th. It's a Monday. The only thing you can turn in on that Monday is the stuff for the exam 4. Everything else ends the Thursday before on July 11th, and that is your final day for makeup work, late work, all of the stuff. Okay, mainly because I have to have my grades in by Tuesday morning. I think at 9. So but anyway, we do 3 papers. They're laid out here. You have access to their study guides. There's some examples up on Blackboard as well, and you can let me know if you need more help. I love to teach writing. I have lots and lots of background in that, so I have a whole set of writing helps for you. And if you need me to look at something ahead of time, great, I can do that. Please don't send it to me at 4 o'clock the night it's due, because I probably won't see it in time. Anyway, so I hope that we do well this summer, that we all get along well, that we can help each other out when we can, that we can work hard and be diligent and better understand the world of creative thinking and critical thinking and argumentative thinking. So there we go. If you have questions, send me an email. You know where to find me. Okay? Bye.